obeisances to beg to offer my obeisances to Srila Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shri Mate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane. Hey Guru Jnanada Dinabandho Swananda Data Gurunaika Sindho Vrindavana Sina Hitavatara Prasida Radha Pranaya Pachara Nama Shrestam Anumapi Sachiputram Matra Sarupam Rupam Tasyagajam Urupurim Matarim Goshtavatim Radha Kundam Girivaram Maho Radhika Madhavasam Prapto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Shri Gurum Tam Natosmi Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghujago Shri Jiva Gopalako Vande Nanta Advaita Shayam Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhum Dichopi Yat Prasadat Sad Bhakti Shastra Pavartaka Nityanandam Aham Nomi Sarvananda Karam Param Harinama Pradam Devam Avaduta Shiromanim Nilachala Nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Balabhadra Subhadrabhyam Jagannataya Te Namaha Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishwabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vrindaye Tulsi Devi Priyaya Keshavasya Krishna Bhakti Pradi Devi Satyavachay Namo Namah Pancha Kopatubhischa Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Patitanam Pavinibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. The anticipated title for this discussion was Cutting the Knot. And we read in Srimad Bhagavatam, Chindanti Kovidastasya Konda Kuryat Kataratim. How to cut the knot of bondage to this material world. We're knotted, tied to this material world by our karma. Karma means what we do, how we work in this world. And if we work for our own personal sense gratification, for our own personal happiness, we're bound to come back to this material world. But we can work in the same way, with same enthusiasm in the service of the Lord, and cut that knot of bondage to the material world. Now the verse that was from Srimad Bhagavatam that was suggested was the first verse in the 5th chapter, 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. It says, Nayam deho bhajani lokam, loke kashtan kaman arhati vidbhujam ye, tapo dibyam putraka yena satam shudyat brahmasokyam tvanantam. Everyone's looking, someone can turn off their microphone, please. Thank you. So everyone is looking for happiness. Unlimited brahmasokyam tvanantam. Everyone is looking for happiness. But where to find unlimited happiness, that is only found in spiritual life. Other varieties of happiness, sensual happiness, eating, sleeping, mating, defending, that the animals are doing. Vidbhujam means the animals that eat their own stool. Dogs, cats, horses, pigs, cows. They eat their own, maybe not a cow, but horses will eat their own stool. They have the same happiness. They enjoy sex, they enjoy eating, they sleep, they defend themselves. What is the difference between an animal, his life, and the life of the human being? That we should consider. The only difference is that a human being can ask the essential questions of life. Why am I here? What is the purpose of my life? Here I am in this world. Why? An animal can't ask why. He's simply chasing the satisfaction of his own senses. But a human being can ask, why was I born? Why am I here? What is the purpose of my life? What is the ultimate goal of my life? What is my relationship with God? Is there a God? An animal never asks these questions because they don't have developed consciousness. They have all the facility for sense gratification a human being has. They have their life, they have their family, they have their everything. But they can't ask why. We don't see an animal reading Bhagavad Gita, a cow, a pig, thumbing through the pages of Bhagavad Gita, asking, well, how did I become a dog? How did I become a pig? A man can ask these questions. Therefore, the responsibility, the prerogative of a human being is to try and answer these questions. Why was I born? What is the purpose of my life? Is it to just fulfill the animalistic needs of sense gratification? Even the demigods are mad after these things, what to speak of the animals. So this isn't the purpose of human life. What is the real objective? Brahma Sokyam Tvanantam, unlimited spiritual happiness that will deliver us from this material world. So how to get that? What is the process? Can you log into Amazon.in and order some spiritual happiness? Do you find it hanging on a tree? Can you go to the bazaar to find spiritual happiness? Where will we find it? In the movie theater? We'll not find in the club? We'll not find spiritual happiness in these places. We find spiritual happiness in this age in the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. This is Yuga Dharma. Bhagavatam says, Kalo doshanade rajan, eko yasti mahadgunad, kirtanadeva krishnasya mukta sangha param jadai. Kirte nadhyayato vishnu, tvetayam yajuko makai, dvapare parechayam kalo dadhari kirtanat. That this age of Kali is characterized by being faulty in every respect. Faulty in the air we breathe, the food we eat, the water we drink, in politics, in relationships, everywhere we look, we see faulty things. Dosha nide, an ocean of faulty things. So where will we find liberation from faulty things? In the Yuga Dharma. In different ages, they perform different activities. Meditation, temple worship, yajna. But Kalo Dadhari Kirtana. In Kali Yuga, the process of self-realization, and there is no other. Be sure of that thing. There is no other process of self-realization in Kali Yuga. Not by karma, not by jnana, not by yoga. The process in Kali Yuga is to chant the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And who taught this? Who taught this thing? This Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. After Lord Chaitanya came back from Gaya, after offering Pinda to his forefathers at Gaya, at the Vishnupad temple, and having met his spiritual master Ishwar Puri, there was a complete change in his consciousness. Of course, this is his Leela. He's always fully conscious. He had his Leela as a student, debating Keshav Kashmiri and teaching grammar and wandering the streets of Nadia. That's his Leela. So he's always conscious. But in Leela, the Sankirtan movement began when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned from Gaya. And he instructed Lord Nityananda and Haridas Thakur that you go door to door and you beg people, Bolo Krishna, Bhaja Krishna, Koro Krishna Siksha, that you chant the holy name of the Lord. You worship the Lord and accept the instructions of the Lord as we find it in Bhagavad Gita and other Vedic scriptures, and you distribute that same knowledge. This is the Bhiksha. Prabhur aghar by Koro e Bhikha, Magi e Bhikha. This is our Bhiksha that we're begging. They simply chant Krishna's name. Worship Krishna. Distribute the knowledge of Krishna. Understand that knowledge yourself. Koro Krishna Siksha. So this is the instruction that Lord Chaitanya gave to Lord Nityananda. So who is this Lord Nityananda? That we should understand carefully. In Krishna Leela, Lord is accompanied by his beloved brother, Balaram, who is not different from Krishna. The only difference between Krishna and Balaram is her complexion. Krishna is Ghanshyam. He's beautiful like a dark rain cloud. And Balaram is beautiful like a white rain cloud. So together, they had beautiful Leela all over Braj. And Balaram is always serving Krishna. He expands himself as Krishna's shoes, as Krishna's sacred thread, as Krishna's sitting place, as Krishna's umbrella. He serves Krishna in all these ways. When the cowherd boys become fatigued after enjoying beautiful Leela, jumping, playing, eating, wrestling, dancing, When they become fatigued, herding cows, when they become fatigued, Krishna will lie down with his head on the lap of a cowherd boy, and Balaram will fan Krishna. They take big lotus pad as a fan, and they fan Krishna, massage his legs. So in Krishna Lila, Lord is accompanied by his brother Balaram. In Ram Lila, he is accompanied by Lakshman. When the Lord goes to the Vanvas, his wife, Sita, is obliged to follow him. This is the duty of any chaste wife, to follow her husband in happiness and distress, in wealth and poverty, in health and disease. Whatever the circumstances of the husband, the wife is obliged to follow. But brother's not obliged. Lakshman wasn't obliged, but out of love for Rama, he followed Sita Ram to the forest. And he wouldn't even eat hardly. He wouldn't sleep. He'd stay up all night guarding Sita Ram. So in Ram Lila, that Balaram becomes Lakshman. And as Narayan, the Lord expands as Seshanag, becoming the Naga, the resting place of Adi Narayan, the original Narayan. And he's accompanied by Seshanag. And in Gaur Lila, he becomes Nityananda. He's that same person. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, let me read some description. It says, I offer my full obeisances unto the feet of Sri Nityananda Ram, whose partial representation, called Karunodakshayi Vishnu, lying on the Karuna ocean, is the original Purusha, the master of the illusory energy, and the shelter of all the universes. That Mahapurusha, Karunodakshayi Vishnu, is known as a plenary part of him who is Lord Nityananda Balaram, the favorite associate of Lord Chaitanya. That Lord Narayan is a part of a plenary part of Lord Nityananda Balaram, who is the source of all incarnations. So see, who is Nityananda Ram? These expansions of the Lord in the form of Narayan, Karunadakshayi Vishnu, are expansions of this Nitai, who appears as the beloved brother of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And what are they doing? Narottam Das Thakur wrote, Brajendra Nandana se Sachi Sutta Hoilo se Balaram Hoilo Nitai. So what are these two brothers doing? Papi Tapi Jattachilo Hariname Udharilo Tar Sakshi Jagai Madhai. That they're uplifting, that the son of Sachi Sutta has become, Yashoda, the son of Nanda Maharaj, Krishna, Nanda Sutta, has become Sachi Sutta. Shyam Sundar has become Gaur Sundar. And Balaram Hoilo Nitai, that Balaram has become Nitai. And what are they doing? Papi Tapi Jatachi Hariname Udharilo. They're uplifting people by the yoga dharma of chanting the holy name of the Lord. This is the activities of Krishna and Balaram. And Krishna is always served by Balaram, as Krishna is served by Balaram. Lord Chaitanya is served by Nitai. After he came back and started the Harinam Sankirtan movement, he asked Nityananda and Haridas, you go door to door and you beg people to chant the holy name of Krishna. They would knock on their door and the householder would come to the door and Nitai would be standing there with folded hands, begging, please chant the holy name of the Lord. And if they wouldn't chant, that Supreme Personality of Godhead, of whom Vishnu is a plenary part, would get down on his hands and knees, begging them, please chant the holy name of the Lord. If still they didn't chant, he'd roll on the ground, begging them, like a golden mountain, rolling on the ground. Lord Nityananda's effulgence is described the Rakta Gora Kalevara. He's Gora, Goranga, tinged with red. And that golden Lord, rolling on the ground, begging, please chant the holy name of the Lord. I sell myself to that person. I'll become the slave of that person who simply chants the name of my Lord. Hare Krishna, Goranga. This is their activity. This is how Balaram serves Krishna, how Nityananda serves Gora in Kali Yuga, begging people to chant the holy name of the Lord. So in this way, Lord Nityananda is Adi Guru. He's the original spiritual master, trying to engage people in the service of the Lord, to engage exclusively for the pleasure of the Lord. So this Lord Nityananda was born in Ekachakra. Maybe some of you have been so fortunate to visit Ekachakra. Put it on your list of things you want to do in your lifetime. Ekachakra is a very, very beautiful place. It's a village place with cows and dirt roads and temples and devotees. Not very big, but a very, very special place. When you're there, you feel like you're in Vrindavan, because indeed you are. Spiritually, you're as good as being in Vrindavan, because it is the place of the Lord's Leela, His Dhamma. So he's born in Ekachakra as the son of Hadai Pandit and Padmavati. His mother's name was Padmavati, his father Hadai Pandit. And even as a child, he was absorbed in Krishna Leela. He would gather all his friends together, and they would perform Krishna Leela. Someone would dress up as Mother Bhumi, the earth personified as a cow. Someone would dress up as Lord Brahma. Someone would dress up as the demoniac kings. And someone would dress up as the sages who'd come before Mother Bhumi and pray for the deliverance, for the appearance of Krishna in this world, to deliver them from the influence of the demoniac kings. They would dress up. Someone would play the part of the different demons, of Agasura, Danikasura, Putana. And they did this Ram Leela one time, extraordinary event. They were playing Ram Leela. And in Ram Leela, Megnath sends a Shakti arrow and it hits Lakshman in the chest and he becomes unconscious. So in their play, the devotee playing the part of Megnath, Indrajit, shoots an arrow, it hits Nityananda, and Nityananda collapses unconscious, and the whole of Ekachakra was full of grief, crying, Nityananda has died, the life of our life, our Prananath, Lord Nityananda has died, he's died. Everyone became so unhappy, overwhelmed with grief, tears streaming down their face. But one thoughtful devotee thought, in Ram Leela, Hanuman goes to Gandhamadan and he brings back this Amrit, this medicine to revive Lakshman. So he instructs the devotee playing Hanuman, you go get the medicine from bring Gandhamadan and revive Nityananda. So it brings the devotee playing the part of Hanuman comes, and Nityananda is revived, and everyone becomes blissful again. So they're playing all this Krishna Leela, Ram Leela. Someone is playing the part of Vasudeva, someone is playing the part of Devaki, someone is playing the part of Krishna being born. And the villagers would ask the boys, ask Nitai, how do you know these Leelas? We never told you. You never read about it. How do you know these Leelas? Nitai would say, these are my Leelas. These are my Leelas. Because they were very astonished. How they knew exactly the parts to play, what to say, what was the circumstance, everything about the Leela they knew, because they were the same persons engaged in Krishna Leela who come to this world to engage in Gaur Leela. So Lord Nityananda was playing his part. Sometimes Nitai, being very powerful personality, would play in Ganga, in crocodile-infested waters. Everyone would become very upset that don't go near that water, it's full of crocodiles. But Lord Nitai would simply play, forcefully swimming around and playing with the crocodiles like they were small kittens or something. Just playing happily with the crocodiles. Now when one day a sannyasi came to the house of Hadai Pandit, and Hadai Pandit, who is not different from Dasarath in Ram Leela, served the sannyasi very, very nicely. Gave him dakshina, fed him, clothed him, gave him every comfort. And as he was leaving, the sannyasi asked, can you give me something? Hadai Pandit said, I will give you anything you ask for. And the sannyasi said, I want your Nitai. And Hadai Pandit swooned in grief. Not Nitai, my Nitai, the life of my life, my prananath, the only reason I maintain my life, my Nitai. So Padmavati and Hadai Pandit were overwhelmed, but he thought, I've already promised the sannyasi to give him in charity So he must go. So Nitai went on pilgrimage with a sannyasi as his assistant and traveled all over South India. And Hadai Pandit, feeling separation, such intense separation, exactly as Dasarath felt separation from Rama when Rama went to Dandaka forest and Vanvas. As Dasarath couldn't maintain his life without Rama, Hadai Pandit could not maintain his life without Nitai, and he simply left this world. This is the affection that develops in the heart of a devotee by the process of Krishna Bhakti. Such intense affection. Jugayatam nimeshena chakshusha pravishayatam shunyayatam jagat sarvam govinda virhename. They consider, Lord Chaitanya in the mood of Srimati Radharani made this prayer. They consider one moment. Nimeshena means the blink of an eye. 1/11th of a second. Blink. They consider that to be like an eon. Millions of years separation, the slightest separation. The gopis would curse Lord Brahma. What kind of creator are you? You're not a very good creator because you made these eyelids and they blink. And when they blink, we don't see the beauty. Gram also felt the same way. The whole village went quiet. People were crying, howling, lying on the ground, suffering due to separation. When Nityananda left Ekachakra to travel, and Hadai left his. So, what kind of person is this? We can understand the mercy of Lord Nityananda by studying the instructions of our acharyas as they presented it in the beautiful, sweet Bengali language. Because Srila Prabhupada said something very important. He was in Denver, Colorado in 1975 of July, 1975. And he was sitting on the Vyasasan, and he asked some devotee to sing this song, Bhajuhure Mana Srinanda Nandana Abhaya Charana Ravindare. So devotees sang this song. And Prabhupada said very forcefully, he said, these songs of our acharyas, Lochan Das Thakur, Narottam Das Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Govinda Das, and other acharyas, Devaki Nandan, that these acharyas' words, as we find in these bhajans, are non-different from the Vedas, non-different from the Vedas, non-different from the Vedas. He said 3 times for emphasis. These things are non-different from the Vedas. The instructions, the distilled essence of all Vedic knowledge is there in the bhajans sung by our acharyas. And this is their genius, that all Vedic knowledge is distilled and presented in simple, beautiful poetry. So even if a person isn't even literate, if you can't even read and write, you can hear these bhajans, sing them, understand them, and make profound spiritual progress in their life. So in the bhajan of Srila Lochan Das Thakur, he writes one beautiful song that was very, very favorite song of Srila Prabhupada. He wrote, Parama Karuna Pahudi Jana Nitai Gaura Chandra Sabha Avatar Sar Shiromani Kevala Ananda Kanda. He said that these 2 brothers are supremely merciful, Gaura and Nitai, that no one even comes close of all the avatars, Sabha Avatar, Sar Shiromani, they're the essence of all avatars. Because other avatars, what did they give? They could give you moksha, liberation from this material world. You can go to Vaikuntha. That's amazing in itself. Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Nishinga, Parashuram, Brahm, Buddha, all different incarnations are there. They can give you moksha, but they couldn't give, they never gave what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave. Love of God, Krishna Prema. Golokera Premadana Harinama Sankirtana. That love of the inhabitants of Goloka Dham, the Brajvasis of Goloka, the eternal associates of the love of the Lord who were overwhelmed in love of God, that Goloka Prem comes to this material world in the form of Harinam Sankirtan. You can taste Goloka Prem. You can enter Goloka Prem by this simple process of Harinam Sankirtan, Samkirtan. So they're the most merciful. Parama Karuna. These two brothers, Bahu Dvijana, Nitai Gauracham, Nitai and Gaur, Saba Avatar Sar Shiramani Kevala Ananda Kanda. And what kind of process they gave? Intense austerity, renunciation, doing austerity like we see. I saw some pictures of some sadhus at Kumbh Mela. And for 30 years they have their hand in the air. The whole arm has become locked in place because they've been holding their arm in the air and the fingernails because they can't reach to cut. Fingernails have become long. Just hold. Will you get prema by this? Or even I saw one sadhu, he had his head buried in the sand and he had a donation thali for dakina in front of him. So people would give some donation. They're doing all kinds of just crazy. For what? What will you get from this? Will you get love of God? No. That love of God, the objective of human life, becomes available simply by the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, and Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda distributed all over the world. Therefore, they're Paramakaruna, most merciful lords. Just chant Hare Krishna, awaken your love of God, because this is the process. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kavano Ishravanadi Shuddha Chitte Korea Udoy. That love of God is dormant in our heart, and Korea Udoy, it rises up, it manifests itself by the process of hearing. Bhagavatam says, Yasyambai Shuyamananam Krishna Paramapurushe Krishna Paramapurushe Shoka Moha Bhayapaha. Bhakti Utpadyate Pumsa Shoka Moha Bhayapaha. That Bhakti Utpadyate Pumsa, that Bhakti, love of God, arises in your heart. And no more shoka, lamentation, moha, illusion, bhaya, or fear. No more illusion and fear. All these negative things are destroyed in our life by the simple process of hearing. Hearing the holy name of the Lord is very, very powerful. Elsewhere in the Bhagavatam we read, Pravishtakana Randrena Sanam Bhava Saroruham Krishna Salilasya Yatashara. That by hearing we see God. Everybody wants to see God with their eye. If there is God, the atheists challenge us. The Gnostic people, the nasty Gnostics, they challenge us. If there is a God, show him to me. They don't think, am I qualified to see God? Like it's an ordinary commodity that you can go to the grocery store and see a cauliflower, a cantaloupe, a banana. You can see anything you want. God is so easy to see. You can't even walk into the office of a powerful politician, like His Grace, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He's a very powerful man. Can you just walk into his office, say, hey, in a familiar way, hey, Naru, let's go have lunch, you and me, masala dosa, come on, let's go. Can you say that? It's impossible. And he is a man of this world. What to speak of having such intimate relationship with God? Is it so easy? We see God with our ear, not with our eye. Karna Randrina means that we see God with our ear. Our love for God is awakened with our ear. When that sound vibration of the holy name of the Lord, the sound vibration, especially Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna says, I sit upon the loving relationship, the lotus of the loving relationship of your heart. This is the power of transcendental sound vibration. And Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda distributed that process all over the world. So, Lochan Das Thakur says also, Pashu Bhakti, no, Deko Ori Bhai Tribhuvani Nai. If you look throughout the three planetary systems, the three worlds, Deko Ori Bhai, oh brothers, if you look throughout the three planetary worlds, you'll not find anyone as merciful as Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Pashupaki Jore Pasana Vidare Shunijar Gunagata. Just by hearing their qualities, Gunagata, just by hearing their qualities, the Pashus and the Pakis and these stones, the birds and beasts cry and stones melt, hearing of the mercy of Lord Nitai and Lord Gauranga. So Lochan Das Thakur is giving very good information to us. Where to find the mercy that we're looking for, where to find the happiness we're looking for, where to find spiritual enlightenment, the perfection of life. Where will we find it? In the syllables of the holy name. So Lord Nitai and Haridas Thakur would go door to door, begging people to chant the holy name of the Lord. One day, as they were out on their Sankirtan business, preaching the mission, preaching the holy name of the Lord, they came across a crowd of people and some disturbance was going on. They thought, what is this? And they came up to the crowd of people and they saw in the middle two drunken brothers creating huge disturbance, cursing each other with foul, disgusting language, beating each other, rolling on the ground in drunken stupor, punching and cursing and calling names. And people were like, what is this? Nityananda became ecstatic. Here is a great opportunity for us to convert these two brothers, thus bringing all glory to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How the Sankirtan movement started by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has converted even these two drunken brothers. So Haridas Thakur and Nitai approached the two brothers who were formerly Jagadananda and Madhavananda, who became Jagai Madhai. They're born in very good Brahmin families, but by bad association they became drunkards and murderers, cow killers, cow flesh eaters, rapists. They burned people's homes. There was no sin that they didn't do. That Chitragupta and all these scribes of Yamaraj simply fainted trying to keep track of the volume of sins committed by these two drunken brothers, Jagai and Madhai. So Nityananda approached them. And they were so drunken, they approached him and said, you please chant the holy name of the Lord. Please, we beg you, please chant the holy name of the Lord. They were so drunk, they couldn't understand what was happening. And when it finally dawned on them, oh, sannyasis, sannyasis, and they began chasing them. Nitai and Haridas Thakur began running for their life. And Leela, not that they're afraid for their life, but from the Leela perspective, they're running for their life. And they got away. So the next day they made a plan, let us approach them again. And they found the same commotion going on, the two brothers fighting and punching and cursing people and creating disturbance, throwing things. And they approached, Lord Nityananda approached Madhai. He said, oh brother, I beg you with folded hands, you please chant the holy name of the Lord. Madhai picked up a discarded earthen wine vessel and smashed it on the head of Nitai, causing blood to flow down his face. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Antaryami, Paramatma, could understand what is happening. He appeared on the scene with his lifted arm and said, Chakra, Chakra, Chakra. Sudarshan Chakra appeared, ready to cut to pieces the two demons, the two drunken brothers, Jagai and Madhai. Lord Nityananda held his hand, said, my dear brother, O Gauranga, that this isn't the purpose of your appearance in this world. You've come to destroy the demoniac mentality, not to kill the demons, because if you come in this Kali Yuga to kill the demons, you'll have to kill them all. They're all demoniac. This mentality pervades the entire creation in Kali Yuga. So you've come to deliver them, so you please deliver them. So before Mahaprabhu came, Madhai was ready to strike Nityananda again. And Jagai held his hand and said, no, don't hit him again. So when Nityananda told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that you've come not to kill the demons, but to kill the demoniac mentality, please be merciful to them. And this Jagai, he protected me. When these words came to the ears of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his heart melted with compassion, and he embraced Jagai. Said, you protected my Nimai, my Nitai, you protected my Nitai. And he gave him, and Jagai's whole body became overwhelmed in prema. He began weeping uncontrollably. All ecstatic symptoms appeared in his body, hair standing on end, shivering, voice choked up, and they fell at the feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and begged for mercy. When Madhai saw what was going on, he thought, I'm also a party to all the sinful activities created by the two of us. So you please also deliver me. And he fell at the feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu delivered them, and the sinful reactions that they had accumulated for their whole life, unlimited volumes of sins, turned, by accepting them, turned the body of Gauranga blackish. So the form of Gauranga became like Shyam Sundar. Gaur Sundar became Shyam Sundar, with the blackish sins of Jagai Madhai. And Mahaprabhu said that these sins will come to anyone who blasphemes my devotees. The devotees were very surprised to see Gauranga as Shyam Sundar, looking exactly like Shyam Sundar, his body colored blackish from the sins of Jagai and Madhai. And Madhai was feeling, because his offense of striking the body of Nityananda and causing his body to bleed, he thought, there must be something to atone for my inconceivable offense to Nityananda. So he approached Nityananda and said, please, I'm feeling so bad that I injured your body. What can I do? What can I do? Give me some prayashchitam, some atonement, some act to free me from the inconceivable, horrible offense of attacking your body and causing your head to bleed. So Lord Nityananda told him, you do one thing. You go to the bank of Ganga and you make ghat. You make a bathing place for all the devotees. And when they come there, you offer obeisances to them and you serve them. So that Madhai Ghat is still here in Mayapur. And this is the atonement that was prescribed for Madhai. Because this is the process. If you offend a devotee, you have to go to that devotee. You can't, there's 10 offenses to the holy name. All of those offenses can be immediately, not immediately, but can be removed by the chanting of the holy name, except sadhu ninda. If one offends a devotee, you have to go to that person and beg excuse from them. You please excuse me, I made an offense to you. You please forgive me. I'm a sinful rascal, I'm a fool, I'm under the control of the modes of nature, and I offended you, please forgive me. I bow down to you, please forgive. So Madhai made this request to Nityananda, and he gave him service that you make this ghat and you serve Vaishnavas. And in this way he became free. And they both became great devotees. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no one should criticize them. They're free from all sins. And they both became great devotees and took up chanting holy name. They're chanting lakh of Harinam every day. And their samadhi, we find their samadhi in Katha, where the samadhi of Jagai and Madhai are present there. It's been taken over by some Apasampradaya group. They object. We were there. I think you remember, Prabhuji. We were there and we began to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. No, stop this chanting. They didn't like chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra because they have their own manufactured mantra. Wasn't it correct?
Yes, Prabhuji. Last year we visited.
Yeah. So it was a very strange thing. Anyway, they became great devotees. So this is a history. This isn't just some fable, some fairy story. This is the history of Jagai Madhai and their interaction with Nitai Gaur. So who can be more merciful than Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya? And actually, to get the mercy of Lord Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya, we have to approach Lord Nityananda. We have to, in another beautiful song, Nitai Pada Kamala, Narottam Das Thakur sings, Heno Nitai Vinay Bhai, Radha Krishna Paite Nai, Chitta Korli Daro Nitai Pai. That just, if you want to approach Radha Krishna, you require the mercy of Lord Nityananda. This is very important instruction. Because if we want to even chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which is none different from Radha Krishna, the holy name of Krishna is Krishna. Hare means Srimati Radharani. Krishna means Supreme Lord. Rama means either Dasarati Rama, Balarama, or Radhika Ramana. So according to one's particular Baba, Rama has different meanings, but this mantra, to actually approach it, to get the mercy of the mantra, to get the mercy of the Lord who appears in the mantra, one has to approach Nitai. We pray, Nityananda Maham Nomi Sarvananda Karam Param Harinama Pradam Devam Avaduta Shirominim. That Nityananda Maham Nomi, I offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Nityananda, the Supreme Lord, who appears in this form. Sarvananda Karam Param. He's giving the highest ecstatic emotional bliss and attachment to the Lord. Harinama Pradam Devam. He's giving, he's that Devata. Harinama Pradam. He's giving Harinama, the real substance of Harinam. Because Harinam is not just a combination of sounds, combination of letters. Rather, Harinam is Krishna himself in the form of sound. Padma Purana says, Nama Chintamani Krishnas Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukto Bhinatam Nama Namino, that the holy name of the Lord and the Lord himself, Bhinatam Nama Namino. Nama and Namino, name and named, are the same. The person Krishna and the name Krishna, exactly the same. So how to touch that? How to get the experience of the holy name? We require the mercy of Nityananda. Heno Nitai Vineba Radha Krishna Paytm. You can't approach Radha Krishna in the temple, in the kingdom of God, Goloka, in the form of the holy name. We require the mercy of Nityananda. But unfortunate people, they have no feeling for Krishna. They have no respect for Krishna. So Narottam Das Thakur is quite, how to say, he condemns them. He says, what is that? Ahankari matta hoya nitai parapashya asatyare satyakori mani. That people say, who is this Nitai? Who is this? What does it mean? What is the use of Nitai? Why chant Nitai? Nitai na bolilo moke, manjila sansara suke, vidyakori kikori betar. So what is the use of your education? What is the use of your life without Nitai? Some persons who don't chant, whose mouth is never decorated with the holy name of Nitai. What are they? Mattahoya. They're just completely confused people. They're like animals. Nitai nam bolina moke majila sansara sukhe. And they're just destined for sansara sukh. Sansara sukh means repeated birth and death in this material sense gratification. Sansara sukh. He goes on. Say sambandha nahi jar britak janma gelotar. Say pashu borodhurachar. That if you don't have relationship with Nityananda, Brita Janma, your life is useless. What is it meaning to your life? Without relationship with God, what is the meaning to your life? So people criticize, who is this Nitai? What is the use of Nitai? What is the use of God? And they go about their material activities of building up their material life. I want big house, big car, flat, wife, children, position, bank balance, influence, name and fame. These people who think they're very big in the material world are like children playing on the sandy beach, building sand castles. Maybe you've seen, or maybe I also did as a child. Our family would spend 2 weeks at the Oregon coast, and we'd go to the beach and we'd build little sand castles. You get a bucket, a little plastic bucket, and you fill it with sand, turn it upside down, and this is making castles and cars and roads and trees. But it's all a dream. Because what happens? The ocean comes in and washes it all to nothing. So these people who are thinking they're big people in the material world, with their money, their wealth, their properties, they're like children playing on the beach. Because in course of time will wash away all their so-called achievements. And they'll not chant, Nityaina bolino moke, majila sansara, their sansara sukh will not help them at the time of death. At the time of death, can you show your educational degree to Yamaraj? Can you show your bank balance to Yamaraj? He doesn't care. What have you done for God? What is your relationship with God? That is our only asset at the time of death. So they won't chant. They won't establish relationship with the Lord. Se sambandhi nahijar, britta janma gilotar. It says wasted life. Se pashu boro dorachar. They're simply big pashus. Notice how Das Thakur is using very strong language. He's saying, you're just a big pashu. You're nothing but a big animal. An untamed, unprincipled animal. Because they don't have relationship with Nitai. No relationship with God. Say sambandha, no sambandha, no relationship with Nitai. So what are they? What is the use of their life? What have they achieved in their life? What does it amount to at the end of life? That we should consider in our own life. What is the meaning of our life at the end of life? Then it becomes clear what we've actually achieved. People want to become happy in this world, materially. That's fine. That will come to you by your karma. If wealth is destined for you, you can't avoid wealth. If fame is destined for you, you can't avoid fame. But if you become intoxicated by it, what is the meaning? Then you'll never have sambandha. You'll never have a relationship with God because your relationship is with sansara sukh, this repeated birth and death, material happiness. So there's great lesson in these songs that were given to us by our acharyas, Narottam Das Thakur especially, Lochan Das Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that manasa deho geho yo kichumor arpilantua pade nanda kishore. Okay, you become prosperous, you become wealthy, you have a nice family life. Without Krishna, what is the meaning? So he's saying, whatever little bit yo kichumor, whatever little bit is mine, I offer to you. My home is your home. My mind is your mind. I offer my mind to you. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyajimam namaskuru. I offer my mind to you. I worship you. I bow down to you. I become your devotee. This is perfection. There is no other perfection. If you're thinking otherwise, I'm sorry, but there is no other perfection of life. And it will be tested at the time of your death. What is your wealth at the time of death? It's what you've given, not what you've stocked up in the bank. You can't take one needle with you at the time of death. You can't take one paisa with you. At the time of death, what did your life mean without a relationship with Nitai? So say sambandha nahi jar. Britta janma, don't waste your life. This is our acharyas are pleading with us. Britta janma, don't waste your life. Make your life meaningful. Awaken your love of God by this simple process of chanting the holy name that was given to us, that was distributed all over Nadia by Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because they're the Yuga avatars. They're those persons who are distributing the holy name. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu not only participated in Kirtan, but he distributed the holy name all over South India also. There's meaning to this, that this Harinam Sankirtan is so important. The Lord Chaitanya himself, Lord Nityananda himself, participated. They came to this world to participate in this process, Harinam Sankirtan, and to preach Harinam Sankirtan. This is the activity of Nityananda Prabhu, going door to door. This is the activity of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, traveling all over South India, converting Prakashananda Saraswati, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and all their followers, making them devotees, giving them the ecstatic experience of love of God. That same experience is available to us in this ISKCON society. So make a plan to participate. It doesn't matter what ashram you choose. That is also destined. It doesn't matter. Grihe tako, vane tako, sada hari bole tako. You stay as a grihastha, you stay as a tyagi, sannyasi, brahmachari. It doesn't matter. Because the objective is the same. We want to go back to Godhead. The purpose, the perfection of our life is to go back to Godhead. What does it matter? If you leave this world as a grihastha and go to the kingdom of God, Golokadam, or you leave this world as a sannyasi and return to Goloka Dham. What does it matter? You went to Godhead. So find that condition in life where you can become happy, become satisfied, and make progress in your spiritual life. This is the message of our acharyas. Grihe tako, bane tako. But sadahari bole dako, simply chant the holy name of the Lord. This is a perfection. And it's so important that God Himself came to distribute this Yuga Dharma, this Harinam Sankirtan, this chanting of Harinam, this chanting of Japa, this reading of Shastra, this distribution of Shastra, for the welfare of human society. For that purpose, this ISKCON society exists. We're an educational institution trying to wake people up. God Himself is coming. Jeev jago, gora chandabole, kota nidra jao maya pisha chirakole. How long you sleep in the lap of the witch called Maya? How long? How long you stay? How many births do you want to stay in this world, sleeping in the lap of the witch of Maya? Lap of which Maya means sense gratification, material prosperity, ahankar, abhiman. It is all about me, I, me, mine, my home, my wealth, my prestige, my wife, my car, my everything. And at the end of death, finished. What was the meaning to it? You die as a crorepati or you die as a beggar. Without the benefit of spiritual life, it all amounts to big zero. If you have 100 zeros, what do 100 zeros add up to? Zero. But if you add one to those zeros, it's a huge number. This is our proposition, the proposition of our acharyas, the proposition of Bhagavatam, of Gita, of Ramayana, of Mahabharata, Upanishads. Add this one thing to your life. Add Krishna to your life, and your life becomes perfect. So don't waste your life. Don't waste your life chasing the happiness of the animals, the vidbujamye, the animals that eat stool. This is a proposition of Srimad Bhagavatam. Nayam deho bhajam niha bhajam nilo kashtan karman arhati vidbujamye tapo dibyam putraka yena satyam shudyat brahmasokyam tanantam. So shudyat, become purified. Jeev jago, wake up your consciousness. Understand the value of human life. And at the end of life, chaktva deham punar janman naiti mameti sarjana, go back to Godhead. What more is left to achieve? If you achieve that thing, your whole life, absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. So take these words of Shastra, of our acharyas to heart, and don't neglect this great opportunity of chanting holy name and becoming perfect in spiritual life and leaving your body and going back to the kingdom of God. So Jai Nitai, thank you very much for taking the time, taking your valuable time to listen to what we have to say, what Shastra is telling us, what our acharyas are telling us, and make your life perfect. Anyone has any comment or question?
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. If you have any comment or question, kindly ask to Prabhuji. First raise your hand so that you can go one by one.
Or if I made any mistake, I'm a conditioned soul. So if I made any mistake, please correct me.
No, Prabhuji. You gave such a wonderful katha, Prabhuji. So, Arkati Vari Prabhu, yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, somewhere I heard that if you don't visit Ekachakra Dham in your entire life, then your 50% of your spiritual activity is incomplete. So I need some clarification from you. So if you could, then it will be helpful for me. Hare Krishna.
I didn't understand your question, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, I heard from someone in some class that if you don't visit Ekachakra Dham in your entire life, then 50% of your spiritual activities are incomplete. So is it true, or is so? I want some clarification from you regarding this.
I don't think there's any Shastra Praman, any Shastra evidence for supporting that idea. I think this is the well-directed sentiment, but sentimental feeling of the devotee who was speaking this. Certainly we should all visit Ekachakra Dham, no doubt. People that went back to Godhead without visiting Ekachakra Dham. This is our spiritual, one of our spiritual homes. Vrindavan, Mayapur, Ekachakra, Puri. These are the places of our acharyas. So visit these places and absorb the spiritual atmosphere, the spiritual vibration of these places and become blessed. So do go to Ekachakra Dham, but I've never heard, I'll say. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist, because there's so many things I haven't heard. But I've never heard any statement that if you don't visit Ekachakra Dham, then only 50% of your spiritual progress is wasted. I think this is the sentiment of a devotee. A nice sentiment, but sentiment of a devotee.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
We have a question in chat, Prabhuji, from Yes Paswan Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for the wonderful class. Prabhu, can we chant Gaur Nitai like we chant on our beads?
Not on beads. Sometimes one devotee was chanting Panchatattva mantra on his beads, and he was preaching, we should all chant 100 Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. That you can do. Because we should pray for the mercy of Panchatattva. Because it is available. It's abundantly available. So we should, but there's no instruction anywhere that you chant on your beads, Nitai Gaur, or Jai Sachinandan, Jai Nitai, Panchatattva Mahamantra on beads. You chant in Kirtan. It is very ecstatic to chant their names in Kirtan. I hope that answers the question that was posed. Any other question?
I think we are done. Nobody else. So, anybody else? Hare Krishna.
So everybody should take time. Tomorrow is the Holy Appearance Day of Lord Nityananda. Absorb yourself in Nityananda Leela. Absorb yourself in chanting. Don't let the day go by uselessly. Take advantage, because on these Holy Appearance Days of the Lord and His devotees, mercy is abundantly available. So don't miss out. Just like if there's a big sale, buy one, get one, 50% off, and you see the computer you always wanted, it's on sale, 50% off. Oh, I'm going to get one. I'm going to get one. Because it's a great opportunity. So on these appearance days of the Lord, on the appearance day is 50% off. Give 50% endeavor and get 100% benefit. So take advantage of Nityananda Trayodasi tomorrow. Chant extra japa if you can. I know you're all busy students, and from one point of view, that should come first. Don't neglect your spiritual student. Nothing from Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavat, Nityananda Charita, and hear something wonderful about Lord Nityananda and pray for his mercy. Especially this thing, Harinama Pradam Devam, that please bless me with the holy name of Krishna, and make your life perfect.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So devotees kindly be here in this meeting. The Prabhuji, you discussed about, I like the two things, like Sravanadi Suddha Chitte Karay Uday. By hearing Krishna Katha, the Supreme Personality Godhead enters through ears. So that's the really thing. And second thing that I really like, that is, if somebody offenses devotees or blasphemes Mahaprabhu's devotees, then all those sins of Jagai Madai enters into him. So,
So be careful. That's a big stock of sins. Chitragupta fainted, and all these scribes fainted just hearing, trying to write down all these sins of Jagai Madai.
So Prabhuji, all of you, again, how many of you like to have, I think all of you like to have Prabhu's association once again. So from Prabhu's behalf, I would like to invite you for Navdeep Mandal Parikrama. There you'll get Prabhu's association and much more mercy, where we will float in the ocean of Krishna Prema in association of devotees. So again, I'd like to invite you for Mandal Parikrama. And I like to again request all of you kindly open up your videos and audios and give thank to Prabhuji by chanting Hare Krishna mantra. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Rama Hare Hare.
Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari
Hari Hari
Bol, Jai
Bol.
Nitai, Jai Nitai, Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Jai. Vancha Kalpatarishta Kripa
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the opportunity to spend time with you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama.